Hello and welcome everybody. This is your host, Learbach, and you are just in time for a new Let's Play. So, what are we Let's Playing this time? Well, it's none other than the cult classic Tron 2.0, the quote-unquote sequel to the movie that was also a cult classic, Tron. Though, since Tron Legacy came out, I guess this is non-canon. So yeah, this is a very fun first-person shooter, and it was made during the time when we still had, like, you know, health bars and stuff like that, to help you regenerate, and, you know, you had more management and stuff like that. So yeah, so this is going to be a very interesting game for me to play, because I'm normally not good at this stuff. But I have beaten this game twice. And before we start off, there's one more thing I want to mention real quick. I believe I mentioned a long time ago there were 3 games that I've pirated in the past and recently bought and paid for. I guess recently is a strong term at this point, probably at least about a year or two now. One of them was Psychonauts, which we did a Let's Play on. The other was Call of Juarez Bound in Blood, which we did a Let's Play on. And Tron 2.0 was the third. For the first two, well, Call of Juarez anyway, it was for money issues. I didn't have money at the time. Psychonauts was a combination of not having money or having a way to play it, or not having knowledge that it was on Steam. Not having knowledge of Steam at all at the time. In Tron 2.0's case, it was a combination of not having the money and not being able to find it anywhere. Like, I mean, this game was impossible to find. Even for, like, the Xbox version, it's impossible to find. Which I believe the Xbox version is called Killer App. I don't think they ever... I remember looking, like, on eBay and stuff like that, and they never had a single copy of the game, and it's like, wow. And just about, like, a year ago, they put it on Steam, and I was like, buy. Like, I bought it without any questions. So, yeah, so let's go ahead and start up a new game. We'll be playing this on easy. I believe I played through this on normal difficulty. I can't remember. This may be one of the few games I actually only played on easy, just because it's an older game, and well, some of the older tropes of these games do follow suit. Such as this one right here. Once it's done loading, it gives you the time to press the button whenever you want. So, I'll press now.
Please, I've got to get back to my routing. I'm already behind on my deliveries this cycle.
You have privileges I require.
So I'm guessing this is a virus.
Just a simple email
Hence the
script,
green color.
I know what you are, and I know what you'll become.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Tell me, what is your function?
I serve Thor, my master user.
So for those of you wondering
Jack, do you
who's
think your
never
dad
seen
would mind if I
Tron,
had some of his popcorn?
Huh? Oh.
the whole story usually takes place in cyberspace.
Yeah?
And
I'm a little surprised you turned down the level 6 programming position.
Look,
yes,
Dad,
that is,
know
I
you're
believe that
disappointed.
is,
Right, I'm disappointed.
I pulled a lot of strings to get you that
oh,
offer.
I'm
crap.
happy making games.
Who's the guy that
Like
played
it,
Tron?
I plan to enjoy it.
Was it?
You sound like Flynn. Hold on, son. Mathria, run a security diagnostic.
Yes, Alan 1.
Results.
A virus has entered the system via email. Lab drives 1,
Can't
2,
remember the actor's name.
infected.
Jet, we'll have to continue this
But I
conversation.
believe that is the actual actor.
This is a restricted area. You just can't come barging in here. Dad?
Get your hands off me.
Dad, can you hear me?
Kind of sad that we don't... actually...
Mathria, where's my father?
Alan 2. I require immediate assistance.
What do you mean?
Contingency protocol.
No, I don't think Jeff Bridges is in this movie, unfortunately, but...
Laser activity.
Or in this game, excuse me.
Mathria, stop what you're doing.
Put on goggles. Clear
Sorry, the cutscene was... Sorry, the cutscene was going on far too long for a modern game. I forgot we were in a game, not a movie. These graphics were so stunning. Yeah, I know, right? Back in the day, this is top-of-line graphics. Remember that? Just like back in the day, Tron was top-of-line special effects, and now it kind of looks like crap. Here we have an introduction, probably one of the coolest openings here. Especially for a game of its time. Like, we have this type of this stuff falling down. It's kind of cool. Like, we're warping into cyberspace. So, for those of you that don't know about what Tron is, back in the 80s, someone came up with the movie Tron, and the basic story is a human gets sucked into cyberspace and has to try and get his programs back from the evil corporation that stole them. He somehow accidentally gets sucked into cyberspace and then doesn't do that, but he would have hacked his way through otherwise. It was really kind of ahead of its time at the time, and it actually lost out on special effects awards because at the time, Hollywood was so against CG that they considered Tron cheating. I know, right? I'll give you a second to just let that sink in. They were so against special effects at the time that they considered special effects as cheating. Yeah, and what does Hollywood do now? Oh yeah, nothing but CG.
Mathria, what did you do?
See, in this game we play as Alan's son. Alan was one of the original, I guess, 3 human characters. I'll do basic training. It's been a while since I played this.
Now that you've been digitized, you can think of me as your tour guide to the world inside the computer. There are a few...
So what you just saw was right there, we had some options. We get that with dialogue and other things. You can press one of the numbers on the keyboard to select them.
Files at any time by pressing the number 8 key.
So right here we just did that. Pressing 8 again, or pressing any button there will actually do that. Oops. Okay, so I don't think that we're not going to be looking at the help files a whole lot. The game does a pretty good job of telling you what to do.
They typically contain important information. When a program has something to say, a talk icon will appear above his or her head. To initiate the conversation, approach the program and press the action key. Try it.
So, action key is defaulted to F? Why did I default it to F? Look at the controls real quick. Oh no, it didn't. That's... Huh. Oh, I see with the interaction. There we go. Okay. I have it defaulted to E, because F is lean. So yeah. This is around the time of those games when they were doing like lean keys. And they still do that today. It's kind of one of those weird oddities.
6 more subdirectories have been compromised. The corruption.
This game does not need a lean key, by the way. You never really need a lean. I guess you could if you wanted to get to, but yeah, so an eye over a person's head means you can talk to them. I believe you can still talk to them afterwards. Maybe not this guy, but you can talk to some afterwards. So one thing I want to mention real quick. In the original Tron movie and Tron Legacy, the guys that are orange or red are typically seen as bad guys. And blue guys are typically seen as good guys. This game kind of plays fast and loose with that. There are some There are certainly some red guy. Most of your enemies are going to be red, if not all of them are, with the exception of some being green.
To continue your training, activate the help programs that display the talk icon.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and talk about player movement without him. It's going to me. No? Oh, we got.
Tell me about player movement.
The basic player movements are forward, backward, strafe left, strafe right, crouch, and jump. The mouse is used to look around. You can also look around corners. Here's a help file with more information. That concludes the basics.
So yeah, they didn't tell you the keys or anything. So W moves you forward, S moves you back, A moves you left, D moves you right, Control, crouch, space, jumps. You can change this all in the options menu and go into controls, configure controls. So yeah, right here. They usually just show you what the basic is. I'm just going to do that just to... So these are the basics right here. C for crouch, not a good idea, just to let you know. Oh, actually, maybe not too bad. I always default to the control key, left control key, because that's what it defaults into modern games. And I usually use E to talk, so...
Tell me about my status display.
The status display shows your objectives and tasks. Press the tab key to see an example. Here's a help file with more information.
So yeah, that's pretty simple. Tab shows you your current objectives.
Tell me about build points.
As you gain experience in the digital world, build points will be added to your version number. At every milestone, you can use the build points to upgrade your performance ratings.
So here's the interesting thing. So right up here, up in the top left corner, you'll see Jet V0.0.0. That's our build number. As we progress, that will grow slowly. We can also pick up certain things. If you look at the bottom there, this little hexagon, orange hexagon, we'll see different things like that strewn about the world. We can select those to add to our build number. Once we get to a full number, which would be, say for example in this case, once we get to V1.0 or higher, we can actually upgrade ourselves. And I believe, can we access it now? Yeah, here we go. So right here we have our health, energy, weapon efficiency, transfer rate, and processor. So yeah, health is how much health we have. The more this, the more health we can have. Energy is how much energy we have. Energy is ammo. We use ammo for everything. We use energy for everything, except for the base identity disk. Everything else uses a little bit of energy. So the more of that you have, the more you can fire your LL rifle, which we'll get into that later. That's the only one I can think of right now. There are other kind of weapons like that, but weapon efficiency reduces the cost for firing a weapon. So each weapon, each shot takes a certain amount of energy. This reduces that by a certain percentage. Transfer rates, uploads and downloads. This is for when you find stuff, you upgrade and you upload them onto you. That takes time. Transfer rate, defrag, disinfect, and port procedures. Right up here we have port, we have disinfect, and we have defrag. We can add when we get port, this is for certain things that we gotta port over, for example. Certain things that we can't use right away, we gotta basically clear them up. Disinfect, certain procedures may get infected later on, so you use that to disinfect them, basically antivirus. And defrag here. Oh, right. Some programs will actually block your slot, so you put that there to defrag it. So yeah, the way this stuff works, we'll get into a little bit later. But as we get abilities, we have utility, combat, and defense abilities. We can just slot them into here. For the most part, everything takes up a set amount. You got 3 for alpha programs, 2 for beta, and 1 for gold. So yeah.
Press the F1 key to access your performance.
And this is telling us exactly that.
Initial set of build points.
Oh, we actually have an upgrade. So yeah, So we got one up here, so we can put how many points? Oh. We can do that. And I think we got 2 more. Oh, we got 1 more. Never mind. As what I tend to go for is I tend to go for health, energy, and weapon efficiency. Transfer rate, that's not really that big of a deal for the most part. What I would suggest you do is you want to do your collecting either before or after a fight anyway, and so having to sit there and wait a little bit isn't that big of a deal. Whereas with processor, that could actually be very useful, especially when you start fighting the viruses, because that's going to be your biggest thing there. Because they'll start infecting programs, and if you let an infected infecting subroutines, that's what they're called here. We're the programs, or rather, we're the user. You get the idea. You get the idea.
More information.
But as what I was trying to say, as your skills get infected, they'll actually spread onto other skills nearby. Right now, you see the layout we have right now. If we have one skill in here and another skill in here, and this skill gets infected, it'll actually spread over to this skill. Fortunately, because there's this base code here, and we can't use that to place anything, it will actually keep it from being infected. Very useful to kind of place certain things strategically so that if they get infected, it's like, okay, not a big deal. Whereas you got other things like this bigger space here where it's like, oh, if this gets infected, you're kind of screwed. We won't have to worry about that for a while.
Mathria has just requested an IO node link with you.
Okay, so let's do an IO node link. Oh, so right here we got so you got these little byte sockets here. These don't do anything for us particularly, but it allows byte here, which is essentially Navi. I don't know why it reminds me of Navi from Zelda, but yeah, it allows that thing to access stuff. I got a few more things we can do. So right here is the IO node. We actually can't activate it. You see right here we got this little circle, blue circle with two red marks. These are keys. You can actually see these right between our health and our energy. I believe green is energy, red is health, down in the center, bottom center. This is where our keys will be displayed when we get them. There are, I believe, 8 keys. Am I correct? Total? Yeah, and the keys change each level. So you get one key in one area, you don't have that key forever. Once you move, you lose that key.
Tell me about IO nodes.
IO nodes are how programs communicate when not in the vicinity of each other. IO nodes, like most objects, require a permission set to activate. The segmented ring surrounding the reticle will indicate what permissions are missing. To activate an object such as this IO node, face the object and press the action key. I believe that's it.
Okay. So yeah, as you can tell, we can't activate because we don't have the keys or permissions as they're called in this game. Permissions are labeled, I believe, starting with the top right, clockwise, 1 through 8. So yeah.
You do not have the proper permission set to activate this object. This way, user.
So Byte's going to teach us. Oops, there you go. Sorry, spun around a little bit. Byte's going to teach us how to get permission. There's 2 ways you can get permission: by taking out certain programs, or by activating an archive bin. Some archive bins contain permissions, some don't.
Tell me about archive bins.
But they always have...
Archive bins can contain permissions, emails, help files, and subroutines. Like most objects, they require a permission set to activate. To activate, face the archive bin and press the action key. One useful note: an empty archive bin exhibits no item nodes. That about covers it.
Looks like you don't have the proper permission set to access this archive bin either. Wait, I've got it here somewhere. Here you go. Now that you have the proper permission set, activate the archive bin.
You see down in the middle here, we actually got one of the permissions. Sometimes they're given to you, sometimes you gotta take them off of enemies, sometimes you can actually find them in archive bins. Speaking of archive bins, we can actually see these little glass cases. You open them.
Archive bin. Select the corresponding number on your keyboard.
Yeah, so you see, if you got multiples, let's say blue are permissions, greens, email, and reds are subroutines. I mentioned subroutines earlier. Let me try and explain a little bit. Subroutines are your abilities. So that's what goes here. Your passive and your abilities, weapons, pretty much anything that you use to customize yourself that's not base stats. But now that we have what we need, we can actually talk to.
Connecting to IO grid.
Yep.
Alan 2, you must obtain your disc before proceeding.
What do I need a disc for?
It will be your primary weapon against the corruption. Node deactivated.
When they say primary, they mean your primary weapon. This ain't no pistol.
Handling a disc is tricky. I strongly suggest a quick combat tutorial. Follow me.
Is it gonna force us into a tutorial? Please don't force us into a tutorial. It's going to force us into a tutorial.
Practice arena for you. The data stream leading to the arena is on the other side of this force field. Unfortunately, the binary bit operating this socket is missing.
So one thing real quick before we continue on. Whenever you see this little symbol down in the corner, this little arrow and something, that means you're about to leave into another area. So you may not want to proceed much further.
Tell me about energy transfer.
Periodically, binary bits lack energy to operate properly. To transfer energy to a bit, face the bit, then press and hold the action key. When the meter displayed in the HUD fills up, the transfer is complete.
So right here, there's something I didn't notice before, but you see down in the corner where down the middle where your energy is, you actually see a flag whenever you hold over this. That's going to show us how much energy we have left over. Yeah, if you let go of the key, you have to restart all over again. You might want to put some points in energy transfer and what's the other one? Energy transfer rating. I might have wanted to put some points in the transfer rating instead of the processor.
Binary bits are simple on and off switches. To activate an object such as this binary bit, face the object and press the action key.
Now activate the bit to lower the force field.
I believe once we go through this portal, we'll be heading off to the next area. So I think we're going to go ahead and end the episode off here for now. So the next episode, we'll do some more tutorials and do some training, and hopefully we'll get into the actual story. Until then, I will see you guys later.